Hello, this is Father Michael Nasser coming to you from St. Nicholas Orthodox Church here in Grand Rapids, Michigan for this week's Midweek Reflection. And this week I'm reflecting on exactly where we are in our Lenten journey. So for those of you keeping track, this is the 5th week of Lent. This week, one more, and then we're in Holy Week. And I think in general, this week of all the weeks really does sort of symbolize and encapsulate and even recreate what our spiritual lives are like as a whole, which is why it's such an important week, but it's why it's also such a hard week. First week of Lent is the first week of Lent, and it's hard because it's new, but it's also nice because it's fresh and we're all excited to get into Lent and really make that effort and try to do things, better than we've done it before perhaps, or anyway, we've got that newness going for us. Second week as well, it's not as new, but it's still, we're only into the second week. Then third week, you got Son of the Cross. It's kind of nice. We're at the halfway point, a little bit of a boost because we're halfway there. Then once you get to the 5th week, where we are now, first, there's nothing exciting in terms of where we're in the process. We're not at the beginning. We're not at the end. We're not even close to the end, but we're getting closer. So that's a hard time. It's that after the halfway point, but we're not even close to the end yet. That makes it tough. But then also, it's a tough, challenging week liturgically. We're going to have tonight the small compline with the great canon. You might think, okay, small compline sounds easy. Well, if you've been to the service, there's nothing easy about it. It's physically the most demanding service of the year. Why? Because those of us that are physically able, we're going to do prostrations, and a lot of them. I want to say there's a couple hundred of them. Every verse of the canon of repentance, we do a prostration, which is hard, of course, physically. It's also challenging spiritually because perhaps like no other piece of literature in the world do we have this extensive an example and a demonstration of how far we've come, how far we've drifted, how deep into sin we've fallen. And it's contrasted with a couple breaks where we hear the life of St. Mary, where you see somebody else who fell really far, but then who rises up and beyond what she was and becomes something just miraculous and holy, as we hear the life of St. Mary of Egypt. Just a beautiful, inspiring story to hear. But it's a long service. I want to say it's close to 3 hours. Not a lot of people come, but the ones that come get so much out of it because of that deep effort it takes. Then we have the Pre-Sanctified Liturgy on Thursday, which is more or less a normal Pre-Sanctified. Beautiful, inspiring, but it's one more church service right after we had a long one the night before. Then we get to Friday, and it's the Akathist again, but it's the 5th Akathist, meaning we're going to do all 4 segments. We've done 1 out of 4 each week, and now in this 1 week, we're going to do all 4 together. So it's also a longer service. Challenging, beautiful, inspiring, all at the same time. And that's life. That's our spiritual life. And I think for so many of us, we struggle in our spiritual lives because we're not at the beginning. That's always a nice, wonderful, beautiful time. We're inspired, we're renewed. And for a lot of people towards the end of their life, it's really a beautiful time of spiritual renewal. But for most of us, we're somewhere in the middle, maybe halfway, maybe not, but still the end is a long way off and we don't always feel great about it. And then there's all these challenges that come our way. That's the time I think God gives us to really invite us to a faith in Him, to demonstrate our faith in Him based only on our love for Him, not because He's showering us with wonderful graces and wonderful blessings that we can perceive. Of course, He's always showering us with blessings, but we don't always perceive them. But this is our chance to say to God, yes, we will follow you, not just when you make it easy, even when life makes it hard, even when it's challenging, we choose to follow you. And I think it's a beautiful time, a beautiful example of our spiritual life as a whole, that we get that experience here in the 5th week of Lent. So I want to encourage everyone to travel this week with care, with effort, but also see it as an example of our whole spiritual lives, our general lives in general, in terms of following God when it's not always easy, when we're not always experiencing His blessings or feel His blessings or His grace, but knowing He's there, everywhere present, and we continue to follow Him and take on these spiritual struggles. And then in the end, then maybe we get to feel the blessings of it, especially when with God's strength, we get to that final ending of this life and entrance to the kingdom of heaven. So struggle well, brothers and sisters. If this was helpful, please share it with friends, family, whoever. And God willing, we'll see you in next week's video.